The announcement that Simon Kinberg is set to develop a new Star Wars trilogy for Lucasfilm has sparked intense debate among fans and industry insiders alike. At the heart of the controversy is Rey Skywalker, the scavenger turned Jedi portrayed by Daisy Ridley in the latest trilogy. While details remain scarce, sources suggest that Rey will play a pivotal role in the new films, raising questions about whether Lucasfilm plans to continue the Skywalker saga or shift towards a fresh narrative. Some fans argue that returning to Rey's story risks rehashing the Skywalker legacy, especially after the mixed reception of The Rise of Skywalker in 2019. Yet, Rey remains one of the franchise's most valuable assets, as she is one of the few major characters created post-George Lucas with any lasting cinematic potential. As one insider notes, quote, "She is the most valuable cinematic asset Star Wars has right now." However, the future of Rey's character is complicated by the ongoing development of her standalone movie directed by Charmin Obaid-Chinoy. Despite high anticipation, the project has faced multiple setbacks, including writer changes and delays in production. Meanwhile, Kinberg's trilogy could potentially influence or overlap with this project, as multiple Star Wars movies are being developed simultaneously, often without full coordination between the filmmakers. So as Lucasfilm grapples with the future of Star Wars, Rey's role could determine the direction the franchise takes in both film and television. With beloved characters from the original trilogy long gone, Rey is arguably the franchise's most significant figure moving forward. Rick, so first of all, let's start with the comment that Rey is their most important asset now. What makes that true or false?
I don't know. I don't know what metrics they're basing that off of. I don't know what sort of internal data or polling of some sort. I don't know if it's anecdotal. If you go to Disney World and there's little girls dressed like Rey everywhere, I don't know. Or maybe it's because they just know it's such an amazing character, and Disney is such a great. She's a true movie star, and there's not very many of those. And the fact that she's a fresh new one, meaning she's not Tom Cruise that's been around since 1982. But she's electric, and it may have more to do with her than anything. Just the actress herself. I don't know, but I do know this. I know a lot of little girls, especially, and young and boys for that matter, she is their Star Wars. She is their Luke. She is their Anakin or Obi-Wan or whatever. Obi-Wan meaning Ewan McGregor in the prequels, obviously. So, not a lot of 7-year-olds running around for Alec Guinness, but you get the idea. Kidding. Just, we love you. I think, she's incredible. And I would push back on the notion that there's not other characters that could not be those same, have that same kind of level of gravitas or whatever. But at the end of the day, I'm all in for Rey. I think she's a great character. I love all three of those films. I'm very rare in that department, it feels like, but bring on more Rey.
It's interesting because I think, so if you listen to the Fandom Menace, who complain that the biggest missed opportunity was not having Luke, Han, and Leia together back on the screen.
The Fandom Menace, just collective the
negative, toxic side of the fandom, who just often call that a missed opportunity, right? Okay. I think the first thing that they forget is that they were all in their 70s when they shot the new movies. So even if they were together, it wasn't going to be high paced action. Regardless, I don't care what you talk about with the Indiana Jones 5th film. It just wouldn't work the same. So what I think is really interesting is that Daisy Ridley, I love to believe in my heart of hearts that at some point Mark Hamill sat down with Daisy and was like, listen, you're not going to be in your 30s forever. And you don't want to wake up one day and be like, I really was Rey. I tried 100 other things, but I was Rey, right? And the moment that Mark Hamill accepted that he was always going to be Luke Skywalker, probably changed for him, right? Even Harrison Ford, who tried to be cool about things, recognizes that he'll always be Indy, he'll always be Han. He's not going to be the guy from Witness. Great movie, love that movie, but he's Han Solo, right? And so hopefully she identifies with that and recognizes, that's That's who I am. But I'm also hopeful that because of the time proximity to the sequels, that it's an opportunity to get Rey, Poe, and Finn all together again. And maybe not a movie about all three of them together, but let's get that movie where the three of them. I mean, that was to me the best part of Rise of Skywalker, which is a movie that is my 11th favorite Star Wars movie. But the fact that they were all together in it felt really good. So I'd love to see a little bit more of that. At the very least, we need to see Finn become a Jedi. That's my thought.
They are all three. It's the only one out of the three where you hear all three speak
together. Yeah.
That's incredible. I've never even thought about that, because Harrison Ford's not in The Last Jedi at all. I mean, he's in the periphery. He's talked about. He's there, but he's not there. That's incredible. And the scene with Adam Driver and Harrison Ford, it's one of my favorite scenes in Star Wars. It's a beautiful scene. Yeah. Anyway, but I digress. I'm telling you, you're going to wake up, you're going to call me in 10 years going, dude, this is a really good movie. I told you. I've been trying to tell you. I'm kidding. But no, and listen, you got to be careful what you wish for.
Yeah.
I'll be honest with you. The first scene with Carrie Fisher and Harrison Ford, I was watching it in the theater going, yeah, it's a little rough. Yeah. It's a little rough. I'm not going to lie. It's a little rough. Now, she was incredible in The Last Jedi. She found that character again, and she took off like a rocket with Rian Johnson. And I hate that she didn't live. I guess in some ways, I'm glad she didn't have to live through the Twitter stuff. Although she would have been really entertaining to grab Twitter and slap those guys around.
Carrie Fisher. Oh my god!
Yeah.
Killed him. Yeah, she would.
and then give J.J. Abrams a lot of credit for bringing a performance of her from cut scenes.
Oh yeah.
For The Rise of Skywalker. But anyway, so be careful what you wish for, because would that have actually worked? I don't know. The what I really like is the scene with Luke and Leia, and he's talking about her hair when she rolls her eyes, and that's a great scene. And I'll tell you, really knocked it out of the park. That surprised me how great he was. Not surprised because I didn't think he had it in him. It's just, Billy D's, and he's an old dude.
Yeah.
Great. He was great as Lando. So the difference is that I love the sequel trilogy. Those characters are great. They have their generation, but no characters in Star Wars, any medium whatsoever, are as iconic as Harrison, Mark, and Carrie. They're just not. So if they don't have that high of a ladder to climb, or steep of a hill, or whatever. I always butcher that. Half a done one, but they don't have that tall of an order to live up to those expectations, and there won't be so much time that has passed. So yeah, I think they could do it. I think it would work, and I'm all here for it. Yeah, for sure. Sure.
What are your thoughts on is Lucasfilm getting their shit together? Is that what we're seeing here with them kind of saying, because Charmin Obaid-Chinoy's film with Rey seemed like it was going to be one movie. Then we've gone on again and off again. There's been two different writers on that, and now there's no writer on that film, but Simon comes in to write now what is apparently a trilogy. Mm-hmm. Do you think that they're like, wait a second, Charmaine's movie, if we're going to do it, it's going to be a trilogy, so let's bring in a writer for where do you think all this is? I mean, there's so many different logs on this fire right now, and it's hurting the fandom, because it's giving fuel to the people who want to say that the Lucasfilm is a shit show and it doesn't have its act together. Where do you think the business piece of this is, the production piece is with Star Wars at this moment?
The first thing I have to say is, if I would have answered this 6 months ago, I would have said, let's remember all this stuff is just a small percentage of fans. It's the online fandom. The real world doesn't care. And my buddies that go see these movies don't give a shit who directed, who wrote. They don't know. They don't keep up with it. And that's probably still mainly true. But what I have learned in the last several months, the last year, watching studios making big decisions based off online, and really you can go back and let's be real. I like Rise of Skywalker, but that choices were made because of the online backlash from The Last Jedi. They didn't want that headache anymore. But they were also discovered they can't win anyway. But you know, after this last election, I won't say get into politics, but I will say this. The next day I was like, well, maybe Twitter is real life. Shit. Maybe social media is more of a reflection of real life than I thought. And that's true in this as well. So business decision for Lucasfilm. I look, they brought a very serious guy in. He's an accomplished writer, director, whether you like his X-Men or whatever you like his, he's legit. And I think that I think that's a sign that they've got somebody potentially really truly locked in. And you can cancel all day long projects that are quasi ambiguous with cast members that aren't names or not even announced yet or whatever. But she is, you like her, you don't like her, I don't care. But that is a established character, 100%. You don't put her on stage at Celebration and say she's coming back and put her on Good Morning America and she can plugs Rey. You just don't do that with her. And if you do, then you really do have some effing problems. Bigger than maybe the Fandom Menace was more right than you and I were.